Under the waves of our seas hides a hidden realm that humanity was never designed to glimpse. Music, a domain where illumination fades into oblivion and existence morphs into shapes that challenge all logic. Music, as we plunge further down, passing through the sunlit layer, then the dim twilight layer, and into the pitch-black midnight depths, the beings we meet grow ever more music bizarre. We've dispatched probes to Mars and charted far-off star systems, yet the ocean's abyss remains largely untouched. We've barely uncovered more than 5% of it. Our knowledge of the moon's crust surpasses what we understand about the events unfolding 6,000 feet beneath our planet's waters. Up top, the sea sparkles with vitality, brimming with energy. Solar rays spark phytoplankton explosions, nourishing schools of fish that sustain vast ecosystems from vibrant coral gardens to massive whales. But plunge past 200 meters and that radiance music starts to dim. We're now slipping into the twilight zone, an immense oceanic band that extends to depths of a kilometer. Music. In this expanse, sunlight is far too feeble for any photosynthesis. The plankton thickets dissolve. No vegetation exists. No verdant power source. Just a gentle cascade of debris sifting down from the upper layers. Minute bits of plankton refuse and the corpses of the departed. Experts term it marine snow. To our eyes, it seems trivial, but for music, the inhabitants of this realm, it's the essence of survival. And where sustenance exists, so does existence. Though utterly unlike what we're accustomed to, the Twilight Zone's wildlife has music adapted into Earth's most peculiar configurations. Numerous species are see-through, their forms resembling fragile crystal. The glass squid floats aimlessly, its innards scarcely discernible, a spectral figure amid the azure haze. The glass octopus blends into near invisibility, with only its gaze providing a tangible anchor. The reason countless organisms adopt this clarity remains an enigma. It could serve as concealment, a method to dissolve in the subtlest glows. Or maybe music, it's an energy-saving tactic in an environment where every hue demands more effort than it yields. Some opt for the reverse tactic, shunning obscurity for illumination. Amid the murk, certain animals, music generate their own luminescence via a process called bioluminescence. To observers, it's mesmerizing. Blinking specks, radiant designs, whole forms pulsing like beacons. Yet in this setting, glow is a matter of endurance. Certain ones deploy it to attract quarry, others to locate partners, and some to evade notice. This technique goes by counter-illumination. From underneath, hunters might outline a shadowy form against the subtle sheen overhead. To evade detection, species such as the firefly squid line their undersides with light-emitting cells. They fine-tune the intensity to mirror the downwelling surface light precisely, dissolving their profile and merging seamlessly with the surroundings. It's mimicry-based hiding, crafting radiance to blend into the very glow around it. Additional creatures engage in even odder music tactics. The bloody bellycomb jelly gleams in crimson hues. At these depths, red wavelengths fail to pierce through, rendering the jelly utterly dark. Within its gut, glowing quarry remains shrouded, shielded from foes that could otherwise spot the telltale shine. In an existence shaped by visibility, or its absence, each evolutionary tweak centers on detection and evasion. Yet the Twilight Zone offers more than optical deceptions. It stages some of the sea's grandest displays. Every evening as night descends overhead, countless organisms ascend from the lower reaches. Lanternfish, squid, jellies, and a massive deep-sea legion surging upward to devour plankton in nocturnal secrecy. At first light, they retreat downward, fading into obscurity. This enormous rhythmic shift is known as the diel vertical migration. It ranks as Earth's biggest coordinated mass movement, outnumbering every herd, every bird flock, every insect swarm put together. Remarkably, for all its magnitude, music, this phenomenon stayed concealed until World War II. Shipboard sonar crews picked up an odd phantom bottom. Music, a thick stratum that ascended nightly and dropped by day. It wasn't the seabed, it was biomass. A whole unseen ecosystem shifting music in unison. The Twilight Zone marks the point where conventional biology starts to warp, where see-through hides become defenses. Music, where glow serves concealment, where vast animal multitudes ebb and flow in a cadence predating human history. This forms the gateway to the profound depths, the initial stratum of an enigma we can't yet unravel. Beyond 1 kilometer, every trace of sunlight vanishes. We've arrived at the midnight zone, extending to 4,000 meters. Here, no daybreak occurs, no evening twilight, just perpetual darkness. Conditions stay barely above the freeze point. The crush of pressure multiplies surface levels by hundreds. To us, it appears an impossible habitat for endurance. Still, it's precisely here that natural selection unleashes its wildest ingenuity. Consider the dragonfish. Unlike typical deep dwellers, it emits red bioluminescence. To the vision of most abyssal creatures, red rays are undetectable, turning the dragonfish's emission into a covert beam. It spotlights targets without betraying its position. Even stranger, its vision is tuned to perceive this concealed spectrum. It's almost as if the music dragonfish has crafted a private frequency visible solely to its own kind. Certain predators in this realm excel at evasion. Certain fish boast an ultra-dark camouflage, absorbing light so effectively that they bounce back under 0.5% of it. Even under a submersible's intense beam, they nearly fade away. Then come the anglerfish, arguably the oddest predators of the depths. The female swings a glowing bait right by her jaws, luring in naive victims. Yet her biggest enigma is in mating. Males emerge small, frail, and dependent, with just one mission: locate a female amid the immense shadowy sea. A daunting challenge. Once he succeeds, he clamps on with specialized teeth, music merging his form with hers. His vital organs gradually fade until he's essentially a sperm pouch, forever linked and sustained by her bloodstream. This ranks as one of the wildest sexual evolutions in the animal world. Not all creatures down here pursue prey actively. Others play the waiting game as foragers and detritivores, anticipating scraps from the surface. A lone whale corpse dropping to these levels turns into a thriving hub, supporting whole ecosystems for years on end. Still, despite our submersibles, our grasp of this realm stays patchy. For each documented species, experts estimate scores more lurk undiscovered. Every plunge into the midnight zone reveals beasts unseen by human eyes. Ones with luminous gazes, razor-sharp fangs, or forms so delicate they crumble music upon surfacing. Welcome to the midnight zone, a domain where illumination serves as a tool of attack, where blending in means staying alive, and where breeding defies conventional logic. At 4 kilometers deep, we exit the free-flowing currents and reach the ocean floor's edge. Enter the abyssal plain, Earth's most expansive living space, spanning over 50% of the globe's surface. Paradoxically, it's among the most enigmatic. No distinctive features mark this place. No vibrant reefs, no seaweed thickets, no dramatic peaks. Just endless ooze deserts extending thousands of kilometers outward. Heat levels hover steadily below 4 degrees Celsius. Nourishment is rare. Thriving demands unique tactics unmatched elsewhere on the planet. One key strategy involves scale. Abyssal dwellers often dwarf their surface counterparts. Giant isopods, puppy-sized, crawl over the muck. Amphipods, usually minuscule. Music stretch beyond the length of a person's palm. The colossal squid, one of the biggest invertebrates on record, is believed to roam these waters. Researchers dub this deep-sea gigantism, though its causes puzzle them still. Theories include energy efficiency or enhanced protection from infrequent threats. In reality, the reasons elude us. Another burst of biodiversity hits when massive bodies cascade from higher up. A deceased whale settling onto the abyssal plain offers a precious windfall. In mere hours, opportunists swarm. Music, sharks, hagfish, amphipods. Before long, even weirder types arrive. Osedax worms, bone devourers settle on the frame, drawing sustenance from fats trapped within. Full-blown communities emerge from one such remains. Music enduring for decades until nothing but sediment lingers. Some residents make do with subtler sustenance. The vampire squid, for all its ominous label, isn't a hunter. Instead, it gathers floating bits of marine snow via elongated adhesive threads. In these low-oxygen abysses, it flourishes thanks to a blood compound boasting the greatest oxygen-binding strength among all cephalopods. Amid this quiet sludge wasteland, existence unfolds leisurely. Organisms develop gradually, breed infrequently, and endure for ages. The Greenland shark, which haunts these levels, might outlast 400 years, the record for any backboned creature. Here, time drags in its own rhythm. Nevertheless, the abyss teems subtly. Every speck, music of ooze conceals myriad bacteria, breaking down elements and fueling an invisible nutrient chain we're just starting to chart. These abyssal expanses highlight our planet's vastness. They eclipse the combined area of every woodland, meadow, and arid waste, all while staying mostly hidden, uncharted, and mysterious. Past the abyssal plane awaits a profounder boundary, the gashes etched by plate tectonics. Music. These mark the planet's wounds, sites where crustal slabs subduct, dragging seafloor into bottomless chasms. Thus starts the Hadal zone, evoking music Hades, realm of the dead. It plunges from 6,000 meters to Earth's nadir, close to 11,000 meters beneath the waves. For scale, music plunking Mount Everest into the Mariana Trench would leave its summit over a mile submerged. The environment defies understanding, chills near the freeze point, music pressures surpassing surface levels by 1,000-fold. To us, it'd mean swift death. Remarkably, life doesn't just persist, it flourishes. Among the Hadal zone's most remarkable beings, these are the snailfish dwelling at the absolute depths of ocean trenches. Delicate and jelly-like, covered in sheer, see-through skin, they seem far too fragile for such unforgiving environments. Nevertheless, they represent the deepest dwelling vertebrates known to science, music flourishing in places where other fish simply can't survive. Their forms have no sturdy skeletons, and their cells are bolstered by special compounds that allow proteins to operate amid immense pressure. Among the other residents are tiny yet remarkable beings. Amphipods, those shrimp-like crustaceans, teem over the seabed in vast swarms. Lately, research has revealed plastic fibers within their tissues, a stark sign that even humanity's farthest flung corners are polluted by our refuse. It's a humbling wake-up call. The abyss isn't as cut off from us as we used to think. Near the trench sides, at hydrothermal vents, existence grows even more bizarre. Snorts. In these spots, bacteria sustain themselves not via sunlight or falling ocean debris, but by consuming chemicals erupting from deep within the planet, hydrogen sulfide, methane, and dissolved metals in scalding fluids. Thriving ecosystems of tube worms, bivalves, and crustaceans rely entirely on these tiny trailblazers. This is an entire chain of life rooted in chemical reactions rather than light-based energy, proving that organisms can persist music in settings completely foreign to anything on land. Such findings spark a broader wonder. If species can evolve to handle these harsh earthly conditions, might they thrive elsewhere in the cosmos? Frozen satellites like Europa and Enceladus conceal vast seas under icy shells, heated not by stars but by core warmth. Exploring the hadal zone offers a window into potential alien seas. Still, for all its significance, our grasp of these trenches is woefully limited. Far fewer humans have descended into the Mariana Trench than have walked the moon's surface. Every submersible mission uncovers species science hasn't cataloged, from ghostly sea cucumbers floating like sails to shapeless gelatinous masses without defined forms, and bacteria with baffling energy processes. For ages, we pictured these abysses as barren emptiness, quiet tombs under the waves. Instead, we've encountered tenacity, forms of life that twist, adapt, and innovate to withstand unimaginable forces. Despite our glimpses, the ocean's depths stay a realm full of enigmas. Over 80% of the sea remains uncharted. Every plunge below a robotic probe yields beasts beyond our wildest dreams. See-through swimmers, luminous annelids, gelatinous drifters defying biological norms. It's a domain where breakthroughs aren't occasional, they're endless. Even with the creatures we've identified, countless riddles persist. What drives so many abyssal animals to reach gigantic proportions? Think of the massive isopods, the immense squid, the hand-sized amphipods. Why do some become almost unseen or wrap themselves in pitch-black hides that devour nearly every photon? The biggest enigma might be bioluminescence. Close to 3/4 of deep-sea organisms emit their own glow, but the purposes differ greatly. To chase prey, evade threats, attract partners, or just persist. We can't yet account for how these life forms develop such intricate biochemical mechanisms, or why certain ones shine in hues invisible to all other creatures. There are even profounder conundrums. At present, these are puzzles without answers. Maybe that's their allure. They show us that our planet keeps hidden wonders, hidden music treasures to safeguard, treasures to uncover.